Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking a look at the new treasure map versing Sanji, the film red treasure map that will be arriving on OPTC and Japan. And in today's video I have two lots of teams for you guys that will take down this particular treasure map. Now, first of all, I did record this over on Twitch. If you guys want to come join the streams, link in the description. Make sure to hit me with a follow so you don't miss out on the fun. We do a lot of summons, we do a lot of team building, we do a lot of like challenge runs and stuff like that over there as well. So make sure to hit your boy out with a follow. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to belt the like button. If you're new, hit the big red subscribe button. But as I mentioned, we do have two teams, or two lots of teams for you guys today. The first lot is the accessible teams, which don't really use like Uta, Chopper, Ulti, Hiyori, those types of characters. I have included Uta's batch because I do think a lot of people summoned on this particular banner that is live at the moment, the Super Sugo Fest. But obviously it doesn't include stuff like the treasure map rare recruits. I do talk about some replacements in that for the new batch if you missed out on one or the other, and some other characters that work really well. From what I can see, this treasure map doesn't seem too challenging for the accessible teams. However, treasure maps have been getting a little bit more and more finicky, and with my teams that you'll see second, I basically just target speed. Like, I don't really care if I have like boosters on the team. It's more about just getting to the final stage as quickly as humanly possible. But like I said, like the video, belt the subscribe button, head over to Twitch, hit me with a follow, and with that said, let's take a look at treasure map Sanji. Alright, so let's take a look at Film Red Sanji, the treasure map that will be going live next for both OPTC Global and Japan. And the first sort of lot of teams we're going to be looking at are the accessible teams. Now, I have gone into this with the assumption that everyone sort of is summoned on this banner. However, I didn't really go into the assumption that everyone pulled the legends on this particular banner. Now, with these teams, I've excluded stuff like Zoro and Sanji. I've excluded Ulti, Hiyori. I've even excluded like Chopper and Uta. However, we will talk about them if you actually do have them, namely Uta. Now, I have included the rare recruits from the batch in this particular like setup. However, I will talk about replacements for said teams where they actually are if you guys didn't actually summon them. But hopefully it helps you guys out. Obviously, these treasure maps do get very, very challenging if you don't have the boosted units, but there are obviously ways around it, and sometimes you sort of just have to resort to using non-boosted characters. But all of the teams you see for these accessible teams, they don't use wave clearers. They're purely just designed for you guys to actually get as many points as possible and actually tap your way through. So, against Nami, who's the first mini-boss, she is an int unit with 1.2 million HP. Now, normally this is where you sort of use buggy strats, but I've sort of moved away from buggy strats because like the scaling and stuff has got a lot higher. Now, she gives you 3 turns of paralysis, block orbs. She changes the middle row into slot. She gives you slot bind, and she gives you puts up 4 turns of threshold. When you kill Nami, she actually does a 50,000 death hit, and it's very, very annoying. Now, actually, before I continue, I forgot to mention, shout out to the treasure map planner. I'll leave a link in the description as always for you guys. If you guys want to use it, it helps you guys out drastically. So, for this Nami fight, the best character to use is this Karina. Like, this Karina, she's boosted at the moment. She's a cerebral slasher, and basically she removes 4 turns of threshold and also rotates block orbs, as well as giving you damage reduction. So, she covers pretty much most of what Nami does. Funny enough, because she has relations with Nami. She's going to help you out on the death hit. She's going to remove this 4 turns here. And she's also going to rotate those block orbs. After that, you really sort of just need to get around paralysis. A nice character to do that is any Robin with the Barto support. However, there is a Nami. Funny enough, this Nami here, the free-to-play Nami, she also removes paralysis too. So there's that option. Next, we've got Zoro. Next, we've got Luffy. They're just point-boosted characters that can give you an attack boost and an orb boost. However, they can also wave clear. And then with Sanji, the blue suit cook, the German 56 Sanji, you can actually use him for your attack and your orb boost. And it should work out pretty hunky-dory. You got some wave clearers here, which is great. And you have like a full boosted team, which is awesome as well. Moving on to Brook now. Brook is a quick unit, and he gives you 5 turns of cooldowns to your fighters, slashers, and cerebral characters. He starts with 1.8 million HP and 6,000 attack, and on preemptive, he gives 6 turns of threshold, so a 99% threshold reduction of damage. He makes all colored orbs unfavorable. He gives you 10 turns of despair, 1 turn of special reverse, 99 turns of normal attacks only, and he's immune to delay. So, the best way to get around this is to utilize someone that can give you either T&D orbs or rainbow orbs or recovery orbs. Stuff like Bond Clay is going to be really good, but I decided to go with Law as our captain. The reason I went with Law as captain is because he has a super tandem mechanic, obviously, with free spirits and cerebral characters, and you can actually use the Beppo to get around this 3 turns of unfavorable orbs, basically. He can also give you special cooldown too, which is another benefit, which is great. Plus, he actually also has access to stuff like Corazon, which can give you some despair removal as well. To get around the threshold, we have the Mugiwara 56 Treasure Map Zoro. Make sure to pick him up if you guys don't have this unit, because he actually removes 6 turns of threshold. He's also an orb booster, but I would make sure that you use your laws first, because law is a higher orb booster. And if you're running 2 laws, you can get like a 2.5 times attack, or 2.75 times attack actually, and a 2.5 times orb boost with your law characters. And then you can just use this Zoro to remove the threshold. You can also use this Sanji. This Sanji is great for removing some more despair. Beppo with double special activation is going to remove 5 turns of despair as well, so just be mindful of that. He gives you a chain boost, and he gives you a full board of tandem orbs, and tandem orbs aren't unfavorable, which is great. Then we actually have the free-to-play Toki, who's another point booster, and she actually gives you cooldowns and color affinity, so she's a very, very good character for this particular fight as well. Finally, I've just chucked on Sabo, the treasure map free-to-play character. Because Law's a cerebral and Brook isn't immune to defense down, I decided to use this Sabo, so that way you just have more damage. However, you could easily replace this Sabo with a wave clearer, something like Daifuku, should work very, very nicely. And that way you can just basically just go special, special, and clear stage 1 and 2, if you guys want. But if you want more points, Sabo is going to be your man. Moving on to Robin now. Robin is a Psy unit, and she gives cooldowns to your fighters, cerebrals, and your free spirit characters. She has 1.8 million HP with 6,000 attack as well. And on preemptive, she gives you a full board of block orbs, 9 turns, which will go down to 6 of bind for your left-hand column. You get 5 turns of chain down, so like getting a 0.1 times boost. 5 turns of a 2.5 times chain coefficient reduction of your attack, sorry. I said that really bad. 5 turns of, if you have less than a 2.5 times chain lock, you have a 90% attack down. And then she also gives you 5 turns of a attack down as well. So there's a lot going on for this particular fight in terms of attack down. But obviously, like as you can kind of see here, they kind of want you to use Uta's Batch for this particular fight. However, Uta's Batch are a 1.4 times boost. And if you have them, they're going to be very, very good for some of the later fights. So the team that I put together is led by our boy Bullet. Bullet stays winning. The man's a fighter, so he gets cooldowns. There are no normal attacks only on this fight as well. So you actually can utilize Bullet's special to like the fullest. Plus, if you have this Bonavista support, you can actually use that support with the Bullet special to get around the block orbs on the final stage too. To get around the chain coefficient reduction, we're utilizing the support of Croc on our Robin, which is really, really nice because he's going to give us a 2 times chain boundary because we get the chain down, which is very, very handy. Then with that, you can actually utilize Who's Who. Who's Who gives you a chain boost. He gives color affinity, which is awesome as well. Unfortunately, the color affinity is pretty much just for bullets, so like bullets going to be hitting really hard. Robin's an attack booster, and then you can actually use this Caesar Clown to actually I don't need this anymore. You can actually use this Caesar Clown because he has double special activation. He can actually remove 6 turns of bind, which is really, really handy. Like really, really handy. Finally, you do have Brook. Now Brook is really good here because Brook can rotate the block orbs and he can get around the attack down. However, if you guys don't have this Brook, I know a lot of people summoned and were missing rare crits. I was one of them. Like, it took me so long to get Nami, so I do understand your pain. But if you guys don't have this particular Brook, you kind of, and you have Bonafista, obviously, you kind of just need someone to get around the 5 turns of attack down. So if we use our filters here, you can actually use the new Sanji that's coming out. He's a really good option because he's 5 turns of attack down. So once you farm him up, you can actually utilize him. He's a 1.25 times booster as well, which is going to be really, really handy. You also have this Rob Lucci here. You could easily use this Rob Lucci. He is a cerebral character, and he's a quick unit, so he could actually slide easily on the team to remove some attack down. You've also got this free-to-play Colosseum Neptune. He's another really, really good option for you guys as well. But as you can see, like there are some options. There's not heaps of options, but like there's definitely some options there for you as well. Moving on to Chopper now. So Chopper is probably the most annoying of the mini-boss fights. Obviously, he is the last of the mini-bosses, but like he's so freaking annoying to get around. And it's purely designed for Zoro and Sanji, and even if you do have Zoro and Sanji, it's still such a shit fight. Like, it's so dumb. Dex sign in characters get 5 turns of cooldown, and Chopper has 1.8 million HP and 6,000 attack. Now, look at all the shit that Chopper does. Like, look at it all. He just does so much, and it's so annoying. He gives you a full board of badly matching orbs, 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of burn, which is at 20,000, by the way, so you want to be careful there. 3 turns of special reverse on your entire crew, and then has a 1-turn barrier where you have to hit with 3 Psy orbs. He has 99 turns of delay immunity, and when you kill him, he comes back with 100% HP, changes into an int type, gives you a full border block obs, and it binds your captain for 15 turns. Why? Why? Just why? But the recommended characters are this particular Luffy, this particular Jinbei, and this particular Frankie. However, Frankie's a 1.4 times booster, so we really want to try and put him on a better team, right? So we are going to utilize the Luffy, and we're going to use the Jinbei. The Jinbei is really good because Jinbei has double special activation. He does cut your HP, which sucks. However, he's going to remove both the paralysis and the burn, as well as give us a conditional boost, which is going to be very, very nice because Chopper isn't immune to defense down, which is great. To get around the barrier for the Psy Orbs, we're actually just utilizing the Katakuri special. Katakuri with level limit break will actually give you a full board of orbs, if I remember correctly. Where are you? There's just so much to read when it comes to Katakuri. Yeah, so he changes strength, dex, quick, sight, int, and block orbs into matching orbs. And because we have, so we have 3 Psy characters here, we can actually break the barrier. However, if you get, like, recovery or tandem orbs, that will actually screw you over. So, like, just be mindful of that. However, I did put Karen Wonder on this particular team for, like barrier pen shenanigans as well as their special being able to go through barrier pen, like doing the barrier shenanigans too. To get around the special reverse, the 3 turns of special reverse, that's the big reason I have Carrot Wonder here. They're a 2.5 times orb booster as well, which is great. But the big reason I have them here is to give the 3 turns of cooldown. Luffy can give cooldowns as well, which is awesome. However, you need to get the like special reverse, and Carrot Wonder are the best character to do this if you're not using Frankie. Like, Frankie's great here because he gives 2 turns of cooldowns, but like Frankie's a 1.4 times booster. We want him over here. So, Carrot and Wonder are going to be our orb booster. Katakuri's our attack booster. We have a conditional boost with Jinbei. And then we can give cooldowns to Luffy. We also have base stats here with Sasuke for the first turn as well, which will be very, very nice. And then on the second turn, when we get the block orbs, we can use our other Katakuri special or a friend captain level limit break Katakuri to give us a full board of matching orbs. And then to get around the bind, it's only on our captain. So as you can see here, it's just on our captain. So the idea is then to actually use Luffy on this turn, make Luffy our captain, and then that way you can actually get around the bind. I imagine you could probably use Luffy on the first turn though to become captain, and then they bind, and then when you switch back, you get the bind that way. However, I don't know how that, like, the mechanics truly work, so I feel like utilizing Luffy on the revive is going to be a little bit safer. Now, Luffy actually is a super type character as well, so when you actually become captain with Luffy, you actually have a super type too, so you are going to be hitting fairly hard on that revive stage as well. So this team should be fine. The only thing I can see is if you get really unlucky on your Katakuris here, if you actually get like a recovery or a tandem orb. But I guess you could always just use some supports here to just make sure that you actually guarantee yourself a like an orb on the final stage. I guess what you could do actually, like, you could easily use because Katakuri does damage, right? You could easily use Shanks. Like, you could use the Shanks support here, and that way you can just give yourself a full board of Psyorbs, and that way you could just definitely guarantee it. However, just be mindful, like, if you do that, like, you might not have matching, or like, does Katakuri make Psyorbs matching? Yeah, he makes Psyorbs matching. Yeah, so just use the Shanks support. Yeah, use Shanks support. That'll work absolutely hunky-dory. As I mentioned, Katakuri does damage. You do damage, don't you? Surely you do damage. Yeah, you do damage. Cool, so that way you just use the Shanks support, you get a full board of Psyorbs, and you're Gucci, you're good to go. Beautiful. Gotta love my boy Shanks, right? So, let's move on to the Luffy fights now. So, Luffy is the main boss of the treasure map, and this is where you want to bring as many point boosters as possible. Now, on stage 1, Strength, Dex, and Int characters get their cooldowns, but the idea here is just to bring Uta. Like, they want you to bring Uta. 2 turns of paralysis on the first turn, which obviously Uta removes. And then on stage 2, there's a mini-boss, and the mini-boss gives you a full board of block orbs, 5 turns of chain lock, a 1.1 times chain lock, 2 turns of a attack down if you're below a 3 times chain lock at 90%, and then 99 turns of delay immunity. On the final stage, against Luffy himself, he gives you more block orbs, 5 turns of special bind, 5 turns of burn. He has a 2-turn barrier for hitting 4 perfects, and 5 turns of resilience, as well as being immune to delay. So, if you guys have Uta, like, if you actually have Uta, you just bring double Uta. And that way, you just don't even need this Nami at all. You can bring the double Uta, and what you do is, on turn 1, you can go Uta special. That way, you get a Well, you don't even need to do like Uta Special, Uta Special. You could literally go Uta Special on turn 1 to get the attack and the orb boost. And then on the second turn, use the other Uta Special to rotate the block orbs into matching and get the chain buff, the 1.4 times chain buff. That will help you get above this sort of chain lock, like the attack down on the chain. Utilizing this Frankie, though, is really, really good, because on turn 1, you can actually use his special, and he locks the chain multiplier at 3.5 for 2 turns. When you actually do that, it actually gets around this, because you carry it into the second stage. He's also going to, like, wave clear stage 1 for you, which is actually pretty cool, with that, like, 20 hits. But, like, that's the big reason you want to use Frankie on turn 1, just to get around this. Like, that's the bottom line there. If you have double Uta, like I said, you can use Uta on turn 1, and then use Uta on turn 2, and then you literally don't need this Nami, and you can make Uta your captain. That'll work absolutely fine. However, if you don't have Uta, utilizing this Luffy is great as well. Now, if you guys don't have this Nami, like, if she's the one that you missed from the rare recruits, you can actually use Baccarat here instead of Nami. And you can actually, because Nami, the idea of Nami is to use on her on turn 1, you get the clock buff, and you carry that into the second stage, and you get a 1.1 times chain boost. However, if you don't have Nami, you can use Baccarat here. Baccarat will actually give you a chain lock, thank you to Tesoro, or Tesoro, however you say it. However, as you can see, it's a lot less points. So if you have Nami, you basically want to pop Nami turn 1, you want to pop Uta turn 1, and then you want to pop Frankie to get the chain lock. Once you've done that, you basically go into this particular stage here. You get a full board of block orbs, which Luffy can actually remove with his special, which is really, really nice. You can actually use the super class of Uta on stage 1 as well, and that way you get a higher attack and a higher orb boost. So once you hit this particular stage, you can just basically decimate it, like, just super, super nicely. Then we have to look at stage 3 against Luffy. Luffy's going to give us more block orbs, and that's why we have the Brûlé support to get around more block orbs on the final stage. And then we have to deal with 5 turns of Special Bind, 5 turns of Burn, and 5 turns of Resilience. Now, a really good character for this stage here as well is page 1, the Colosseum page 1. However, to get around the Resilience here, I'm actually utilizing Ulti. So because I'm using Ulti, I didn't really want to bring this page 1, because then she becomes my captain and all that sort of stuff. Now, if you guys aren't using this Ulti, this page 1 will work very, very nicely for that stage 2. But Ulti's great because she can actually remove the Resilience on this particular stage here. If you guys don't have this Ulti, if you guys are pretty unlucky with this particular Ulti as well, you can easily utilize something like this this Moria. This Moria is a really, really good option for you. Or you can actually poison the enemy. There's definitely that option for you too, with this Magellan and Hannibal. So that's another way of actually getting around the Resilience there. To get around the Special Bind and the Burn, we're actually utilizing the new Robin. She's a 1.4 times booster. She's really, really good here because she can actually give a conditional boost as well, because there is no defense down immunity. So you're doing a lot more damage there. However, if Robin is the one that you guys missed when it comes to summoning, you are going to have to look at just basically getting around the Special Bind. The Special Bind is the big thing that you want to use her for. And the only really character that I can see here that's good is sort of Heat and Wire. So Heat and Wire will have the 5 turns of the Special Bind removal, and Heat and Wire is an int-based character. Unfortunately, Moria won't actually get rid of all of the Special Binds, so like it's very, very annoying. You could maybe try and weasel some supports with Buggy, but the best character that I can see here is Heat and Wire, or if you have Ulti. If you have, I don't know if you got luckier with Ulti somewhere along the line, you could definitely use Ulti as well. But Heat and Wire, they're going to be your best option in terms of just a straight replacement. With that, we're pretty much covered. We do have to do some crazy shenanigans, as you guys heard, with this particular stage. But this team at a 7.16 times boost is very, very good. And if you have Uta yourself, and you actually replace Uta, or you use Uta here, instead of using Nami, the points are actually going to be even higher, which is really, really good to see. So, like, 7.43. However, like, if you don't have Uta, like I said, just bring a friend and bring Nami down here. So then that way you can get around all those chain shenanigans. The final intrusion fight, or not the final, but the intrusion fight, is actually against Sanji himself. And as you can see, like this line right here, it just screams, bring Uta. Bring Uta. If you have Uta, bring her. If you don't, bring a friend, because you need her. Like, that's the bottom line. Her special doesn't actually trigger interrupts for attack and orb boost, so it's very, very good. Fighters, Free Spirits, and Powerhouse get their cooldowns. Obviously, Uta is not any of these, but it doesn't matter because Uta gets 10 turns of cooldown, and you're basically going to start with her special. Just bring a ship and have sockets ready to go, and you will start with her special. It works out pretty nicely. Because I think her, with her Limit Break expansion, she actually goes down to 13 turns, if I remember correctly. I did actually do my Uta, but off the top of my head, I just cannot remember. She is on a 13-turn cooldown. So, yes, she will have her special ready to go on turn 1. You basically want to pop it on turn 1. She also gets around paralysis there, which is great. And then on stage 2, there's 2 turns of a 5 times int orb barrier, which is very, very annoying to get around. 5 turns of threshold, and 99 turns of immunity. And if you use an attack or orb boost on this stage, you cop 3 turns of paralysis. But again, Uta does not trigger this. Like, it doesn't trigger this at all. So, you're going to be fine. On the final stage, 8 turns of paralysis. Uta takes care of that. You get all your buff and values removed. There's 3 turns of special rewind on your first, like your top row, your captains. 5 turns of defense up and 99 turns of full immunity. And if you use an attack on orb boost, there is a interrupt for despair. So Uta is basically just going to cover that. So do not stress about these interrupts because Uta has that covered. So how do we get around all this stuff? Basically, turn 1, we're going to pop Uta so that way we can get all these carryover effect shenanigans. And then on stage 2, if you don't have the new Jinbei, getting around this barrier is almost impossible. You might have to either stall a turn and then use something like Magellan and Hannibal to get around 1 turn of barrier. However, the shenanigans that I'm going to try, or I want you guys to try and let me know how it goes, is actually utilizing Carrot and Wanda. Now, Carrot and Wanda, if you use their special, they're going to set the defense to 0, which is great, and they go through barriers. They go through defensive effects, actually, which means they can not only go through the barrier, but they can actually go through the threshold. That's also going to help if you're missing this Brook, so that way you don't even need to bring Brook at all, and you'll be pretty much good to go. With Nami, you can actually pop Nami on turn 1, get the chain boost carryover effect, and what that's going to do is you can get the 1.1 on top of that, if you can use it. If you can't use it turn 1, you can always use Frankie here. Frankie's actually going to give you a 3.5 times chain lock, which means that, like, Carrot and Wanda can hit very, very hard. They set defense to 0 if you use Nami special. Sorry, you want to use Nami special on turn 2, so that way you get the effect of this Robin. This Robin support gives you a conditional when you attack defense down enemies. So, Carrot and Wanda are going to have Uta's, like, what's it called? Uta's attack and orb boost. Possibly the super type, the super type with the plus 0.25, if you guys can get it. Then she's going to have a 3.5 times chain lock, as well as a conditional boost for defense down. So the idea is just to use Carrot and Wanda to kill this particular stage. Hopefully it works. I don't know how long it'll work for, but once it stops working, you basically just want to replace Carrot Wanda with someone that can remove 2 turns of barriers. And I think Treasure Map Shanks is probably your best option, because literally none of these boosters up here can actually remove 2 turns besides the new Jinbei. So just be mindful of that. Once you hit the final stage, you get around the paralysis thanks to Uta. Once you get your buffs cleared, the Rockstar buff, that song buff, will actually trigger. And that way you can actually get the 2.5 times attack and orb boost. To get around the defense up, you actually have Carrot and Wanda's special once again. They set defense to 0, which is very, very nice. You can use the Brulee support on them too, actually. So that way you can get more turns of cooldown on the final stage as well. And that way you can just guarantee that special ready to go. You can use the super type of Luffy to get to make the orb boost bigger, actually, on this particular stage with Carrot and Wanda, and then use Uta and stuff like that. There's like a lot of crazy shenanigans you can do here. But if you guys don't have Brook, as I mentioned, don't stress. You could pretty much replace Brook with anyone if the Carrot and Wanda strat works. To get around the defense up, you set it to 0 with Carrot and Wanda, which is great. You have the 1.1 times chain boost carryover thanks to Nami, so that way once you hit the final stage, you're hitting with like a 3.6 chain boost on the back end, and you can actually use the final tap of Uta here to do a lot of damage. So that's the accessible teams. They should work fairly nicely. If you guys are trying them, let me know like how they go, because I would love to sort of like get some thoughts and opinions, as I won't be running these particular teams. We're going to take a quick look at the teams that I'm going to be using, which are all based around speed. So let's take a look at them quickly. Alright, so this is just editing stump here. I actually did my treasure map summons after the recording of this video. So funny enough, like I just sort of planned to get all the treasure map boosters. But unfortunately there is no special bind removal from the boosters. So I did have to include some different supports on this Luffy variation. Brulee can give you full water block orbs removal, and then Mihawk gets around the resilience as well, which is great. Plus, I pulled Hiyori today, so if you guys didn't check out those summons, make sure to go check them out. I actually pulled Hiyori, which is great. Plus, this Flampe support you don't actually really need because Izo and Kiku actually extend the orb buff. So, like, you kind of want to use Carrot and Wonder and then extend that with Izo and Kiku instead of using something like Zoro. So, I might look at sort of changing Zoro from this particular team. But, like, we'll have to wait and see what the damage looks like. But the big changes here, obviously, Hiyori instead of Shirahoshi because you get Wano slots and then these two supports here. If you have ulti, though, you can just use ulti over Chopper. That should work absolutely hunky-dory. But that's enough about that. Let's take a look at the rest of the... Well, the end of the video, I guess. Alrighty, so here are the teams that I'm going to be using for the Film Red Sanji treasure map. They're all based around speed, and obviously they use all of the point boosters as the final stages. So, if you guys did some summons or like got very lucky and you are utilizing these point boosters, and you want some sort of faster teams to sort of tear your way through the treasure map, this is what I'm going to be rocking. So, ideally against Nami, you get around Paralysis with the Izu Kiku Captain, and then you have Karina to get around the Block Orbs. You have Karina to get around the, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. The Threshold, and then with her special, like, you can get an Orb boost, thank you to Flampe for early stages. Then you have Carrot and Wonder for later stages as well. Zoro's a wave clearer. You have wave clearing with Izo Kiku as well. They're a chain locker. It should all work out pretty hunky-dory. You should probably just want to get an attack booster on here. It's probably the only thing that we're missing. That should work very nicely. You could even use the Odin support on Izo and Kiku as well for some color affinity shenanigans too. But this team should do the job fairly nicely. Onto the Brook fight. This whole team is not boosted except for Toki. This fight, just like this team, just going to move so fast, and that's the idea. You want to use the super class of, the super type of the Cat Vipers to just wave clear stage 1 and 2. Toki gives you cooldowns. You have an attack boost and an orb boost with Cat Vipers. You get Rainbow Orbs with Shirahoshi. You're not even attacking, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you literally can just pop the Wipe It and Roger special to give yourself a color affinity boost, as well as a higher attack boost or a higher orb boost, depending on how you're doing it. And they remove all the despair, so that just works great. This team should fly. It's very low points, but it's just going to go absolutely just AWOL in terms of speed. Onto the Robin fight now. Like, funny enough, this whole team doesn't really get cooldowns, but because of Kid, it just moves so nicely. Blackbeard's great because he can remove the bind on the left-hand column and gives you the chain boundary, thanks to Kid being a driven captain. Kid can get around the block orbs. Kid can also wave clear stage 1 and 2, thanks to having heat and wire. Moria, Brook, they're just here for sort of points. And the Brook removes the attack down. Now, there's a lot of other options you can bring for the attack down removal. But I'm using Brook just because he's, like I said, he's more points, and I'm not literally using the batch anywhere else. So, onto Chopper, the most annoying fight of the treasure map. I don't have Zoro and Sanji, and even if I did, I wouldn't be using them just because, like, the whole idea is to get to the final stage and just try not to use as many specials. But what I am actually going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to tap on the first stage and then use Rhodey and BB to actually wave clear stage 2. They give cooldowns as well, which is great. Then the idea of this team is Ace and Yamato can remove the bind on the revive, and Koala gets around the special reverse. With this Luffy and this Otama support, you can actually get around 2 turns of bind for the revive. You've got the paralysis removal with Bardo and Sanji. And then with Whitey base support on Ace Yamato, you can actually get around the barrier. So you can use Ace Yamato to get an attack boost, and then use the Whitey bait to just remove the barrier. You can kill with your 3 dex units here, and then on the revive, you actually have an attack boost with Robin and block orb manipulation as well. You also have an orb boost with Zoro as well. You could use Luffy if you want to, but you don't really need to. But Koala is also color affinity. I don't have a way to get around the burn on this particular team, and I don't really care because I don't plan on hitting perfects, because I feel like this team is just going to have a lot of damage that it should be absolutely hunky-dory. You get a full body unfavorables in the first turn, but with Robin, she makes in-orbs beneficial for Psy characters, and Koala makes strength orbs matching as a captain, so you just get a full body orbs that way as well. This team, it synergizes really, really well, and I'm actually really, really keen to see how it goes. The rest of the fights, they basically just use the batch. Like, Zoro's great to get around those chain shenanigans. Uta, obviously, Uta's just, like, built for the other stages. You got the barrier removal with Jinbei, and then Chopper is just like color affinity, getting around Bind and Despair, and this Frankie, I don't even know what this Frankie does, but they're the highest point boosters, and that's the teams that I will be rocking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully it helped you guys out. As I mentioned, these are the accessible teams, and I'll leave a picture at the end of the video for you guys. so you guys can check it out. But if it did help you out, make sure to belt the like button for me. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button. But most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!